Hello, Silke here. Hi. Um, if we haven't met before, hi. Nice to see you. Although I can't actually see you, but nice to be here for you. And I am Silke, Chief Paint Slinger here at Heart for Art. I teach people step by step how to paint. I'm just going to change that lighting, it's a bit harsh there. And I do that in my studio and online, and it's super easy and super fun. And if we have met before and you've just joined me online, hi, good to see you here again. Thanks for joining me. Great to have you here. Now, essentially today, what I want to cover is some of the problems you might be having as a new artist. If you're getting frustrated with painting because you don't know how to fix it when you make a mistake, I want to help you because painting should be fun. If you've painted the wrong color or accidentally got paint where you don't want it to be and you're not sure what to do, or maybe you're making some of the other common mistakes that people make and you don't even know you're doing it, like over blending, for example, or using your brush wrong, didn't even know you were doing it. Now if you can relate to any of that, excuse me, then this Hearty Tips for Silke today is for you. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a demo and show you how to easily fix some of the most common mistakes that people make when they first start painting. I will show you some quick fixes if you've made a boo-boo, and they're quite easy, so it's all good. Excuse me, let me just get a drink of water here. Better. And I'm going to talk about some other common mistakes that people make as well, and you may not even know you're making them, all right? So now I want to do that because I don't want you to get frustrated with painting. I want you to enjoy it. So the next time you paint, you won't get frustrated with my tips, and you won't give up if it's not working. You'll be able to paint with confidence, knowing you can fix any mistakes easily and enjoy your painting time more, okay? So that's my goal for today. Now, the reason I am teaching this today is because when I paint with people in the studio, when they come and paint with me, a lot of people are first timers, and I see them making these simple mistakes all the time, and it's not their fault. And if you're learning for the first time, it's not your fault either. It's just because you've never painted before, so you've never been shown how to do it or shown how to do it properly. And that is totally normal, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's all good. Don't worry. But when I see people making these mistakes in the studio, I can see that they start to get frustrated, and it's not quite going the way they want it to go, and they start to lose the joy of painting, and the fun of it sort of dwindles a little bit. But as soon as I come along, I'm there, with them to help them straight away. As soon as I come along and show them how easy it is to fix the problem, they instantly relax again, the smiles come back, and they start enjoying painting again. So that's why I want to share this with you today. Now, recently I had someone in the studio who accidentally got a dribble of paint on her painting. We were painting Wellington by Night, and there's a part where you splatter your stars on the sky, and she got a nice big splatter where she didn't really want it. So I suggested to her to turn it into fireworks, and it looked really awesome. Hang on, I've got it here. I think I know how to show it to you. There it is. Look at that. See, right in the middle there. I don't know, can you see my mouse? No, you can't see my mouse. To the right of the moon there, you can see a beautiful fireworks above the beehive. Isn't that lovely? And it was just such a simple, quick way to fix a boo-boo and make it look like it was meant to be there. And another lady that was painting Oriental Bay, she got some paint spots on some of her houses. So I suggested she turn those into small flowers, and that looked amazing too. I don't have a picture of that one. I didn't take a close-up one, but you can see here, the fireworks, the boo-boo turned into a fireworks. And that is what I'm going to show you today, how to quickly and easily do that, all right? So I'm just letting you know that it's okay to make mistakes, and you will make mistakes. Let me get rid of this picture so you can see me again. Hi, here I am again. and it's totally normal. And it's if you're not freaking out about it, it's actually quite easy to fix the mistakes as well. And the best thing about painting is that there really is no mistake that you can't fix. And that is just my saving grace every time. I think, no, there's a way to fix this. It's all good. There's nothing you can't fix when you're painting, all right? And once you realize that, you'll relax and enjoy the process more, and you'll get way more enjoyment and you know, that therapeutic benefit of art out of your painting, all right? So let me show you now some easy ways to fix some of the most common mistakes that people make. So I'm going to switch cameras so that you get a bird's eye view of what I'm doing. And I'm just going to switch this light off as well because that creates a bit of a shadow on the thing. So here we go. I'm just going to switch. There we go. So you can see what I'm working on here. Right. Now the first thing I want to teach you is how to use your brush properly. All right. Now, a common mistake I see is that people only use the tips of their brushes, all right? If you're finding that when you're painting, the paint is just getting pushed around a bit and you're not actually getting any paint to go onto your canvas, it's because you're using the tip of the brush. Now, this is the tip here. And the main part of the brush is the belly of the brush. Now, most of the paint sits in the belly of the brush, not on the tip of the brush, all right? So I'm just going to get a practice canvas here. I use these in the studio all the time so people can just have a practice, and that's the best way to learn as well. Just practice. Have a go. And I'm just going to show you with black paint. Now, I always thin my paint a little bit so it goes on a bit easier. But I'm just going to show you that if I use the tip of my brush straight up and down, you can see that it's just going to kind of push the paint around a bit, and it's not actually going to, I mean, I don't know if black is the best way to show you, but as you can see that you can still see the canvas through it. Well, I can. I don't know if you can on the screen. Maybe I'll use a different colour. That might work better. I'll just clean my brush. Oh, where's my paint rag? And I will show you with purple. I do like this colour. Actually, you can see it happening there on that. So you can see here I'm just painting my purple. That's better. There you can see it. And it's just kind of pushing it around. It's not actually putting a whole lot of purple down. So if I grab a bit more paint, try it again, it's still just pushing it around. It's like, why is it not working? I've got heaps of paint on here and it's just sort of pushing it around and not actually putting a good solid layer of purple on. That is because you can see all the paint there is on the sides of the brush, the belly of the brush, not actually, hang on, yeah, you probably see it better there, not on the tip of the brush, all right? So the quick, easy way to fix that is to just, instead of having your paintbrush perpendicular to your canvas, put it more parallel, all right? So that the belly of the brush goes onto the canvas, and you can see instantly it's putting more paint on, all right? And there's heaps more paint on the other side, so I can rotate that and put that down as well, instead of upright where it just pushes it around, all right? So lay it down, put your brush more parallel to your canvas, and all the paint that's in the belly of the brush will then get put down on your canvas, and nice light gentle strokes as well, all right? So that was easy, wasn't it? Nice, easy, quick fix. So now that I've explained that, let me put this one away. Another mistake that people make, number 2, so that was using your brush properly, putting down more paint. It's all in the belly of your brush. The second mistake that I see people make quite often is overblending. All right, you want to get some nice blending happening, but you don't want to end up with a flat color. It just means that you're using too many brush strokes, all right? But again, that is easily fixable as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint a background here, and I'm going to use a bit of purple, a bit of white, and a bit of red, maybe. So I'm going to start with the purple. Hang on, let me just move over a bit. So I'm going to start with a bit of purple, and what we want to do is we want to have a nice soft blend with white. I'm going to put a nice background in, and we don't want to overblend it. We want to have that bit of differentiation showing through the, between the different colors. And you can see there's a bit of dry brush effect happening here. That's because I need to put some water into my paint and just thin it a little bit. When I do that, the paint will go on a little bit better. I did do a Hearty Tips with Silka about paint consistency to cover that kind of problem. So go and have a look at my blog if you want to have a read of that one, or a watch of that one rather. So now you can see here I've got some nice differentiation happening between my whites and my purples. All right, now we want that because we want to create a bit of depth in our painting. All right, now the problem is that sometimes you just want to keep going. All right, and you just keep going, and you just keep going, and you just keep going, and you think, oh yeah, I'll just do one more and just put a few more strokes on, and you just feel like you have to keep putting strokes down. Now the problem with that, unless you want it to be soft and muted, is you're going to get one flat colour, all right? And it's all just going to par back to one flat colour. I've still got a little bit of differentiation there. I mean, I'm using a canvas pad today. The effect is more prominent on actual canvas. But you can see it's all kind of, I've just kept going and it's all kind of gone a bit flat. Not a problem though. All you got to do is put a bit more paint back on. And you really don't need that many strokes. You just do a few. Whoops, I'm dipping my elbow in the paint there. So the key is to just do a few strokes and not put too much, you know, not go over it too much, because the more differentiation you have between the colours, the more depth you'll have, the more interest you'll have in your painting. It'll just look more interesting. So I'm just going to keep going for the sake of this painting. I'm just going to do a few more colours. I'm going to add some red, and again I don't want that red to be too solid, so I'm just going to add a bit of white in and just par it back a little bit. But again, I'm just going to make sure I don't overblend and get one flat colour. The key is that you want to just keep it interesting and keep a bit of depth and dimension happening in your painting by not overblending. The more brush strokes you have showing, the more interesting the painting is. As soon as it starts getting flat, you could just do it on the computer with flat colours, you know. So the whole point is to just embrace the brush strokes and let them come alive, if you will, in your painting. So I'm kind of happy with that. Yeah. I've got a bit of a glare happening there, but it's not too bad. But again, I'm feeling like this bottom bit is a bit flat maybe, so I might just do a few more strokes. And it's really about just doing light strokes and not going over them too many times. Usually once or twice is enough. All right. So that's my background done. And that's a simple way to show you how to not overblend. And if you have overblended, just put more paint on. That's it. Simple. See, I can just add some more paint and then that brings it all back to life, and suddenly we have a bit more depth and distance. So if you overblend, just put more paint on and a couple of strokes each time. Now another thing I see, lesson number 3 for today, or tip number 3 for today, is people try to paint over wet paint. Now unless you're blending, which is what I just did, you want the layers to be wet while you're blending, and you don't want to blend too much. But when you're painting in acrylics, you can paint in layers, and that will add a whole heap of depth and dimension to your painting as well. But when you're doing layers, your layers must be dry first, or your colours will mix like we've just blended. If you want to put something else on top, you've got to make sure it's dry first, all right? So you can either wait and watch the paint dry, whatever you're into, or you can grab a trusty hairdryer. Mine's very well painted, and give it a bit of a blast with the hairdryer to make sure everything's dry. So that's also really simple. Now if I try to paint onto this, let me just demonstrate. I'm going to paint a green, something green, all right? Now you can see straight away, I don't know if you can see that, the colours are mixing, the underneath colours are mixing with the on top colours, and you're not going to get a clean colour that you want there. So really important to make sure the bottom layer is dry before you paint your next layer on. So give it a blast. Sorry, this bit's a bit loud. And the way to tell if it's dry is if you hold it in the light. If it's shiny, it's still wet. If it's not shiny, it's dry. Okay, that was a lot faster than watching paint dry. So now we get on to the next tip, and this is to do with if you make mistakes. You know, if you're painting and you wobble your bit, your brush goes off track, it goes where you don't want it to go, and you end up with a shape that you don't like. It's really simple, really simple to fix it. You basically just work it into your design. All right, so I'm going to paint some flowers. I'm going to go, am I going to go purple? I'm going to go a bit darker. Well, I'm going to make some light purple flowers. I'm just making this up as I go along, essentially. So I'm just going to, and I'm going to put some water in my paint so it's not too thick. So I'm just going to paint some flowers. All right, I'm just going to paint some nice, easy petals like that. Actually, I want to make them a bit bigger. There we go. Nice, easy petals. Quick and simple. Actually, they're quite light. I don't know if you can see those. And then if you go a bit wonky with one, oh dear, you know, it's really not a big deal. You can see one of my petals is a lot bigger than the others. But all you have to do to fix that is make the other petals bigger. You know, make them match. Easy. There we go, that's a bit better of a match. Lovely. So nice and easy. You basically just work it into your design. Tweak it as you need to. Or, you know, if actually I'm going to change colours here, I'm going to go a bit redder because I'm not sure that you can actually see that very well. So I'm just going to go a bit redder just so you can see it a bit better. There we go. I think you can probably see that one a little bit better. So if you're painting and you accidentally go like that and you suddenly have a bit sticking out the top of your petal that you don't actually want, again, think creatively. Think, how can I work that into my design? So I'm just going to change the shape of the petals. There we go. And I'm going to change the shape on all of them. Now it's like I intended to do it. I just need a bit more paint. And I'm going to do the same boo-boo essentially on all of the petals. I mean, this is just a rough flower painting today. I'm not being too precise, but then, you know, that's kind of the point as well, not to be too precise because you'll actually have a little bit more fun with it. So that's you know, an easy way to fix any boo-boos. I'll show you with a darker colour. I'm just going to switch and use a smaller brush. The brush that I used earlier that I haven't cleaned. Where's my paint rag? There we go. I'll just dry that as well. I'm going to paint a stem onto my flower. Forgot to put water in there. Let's just put a little bit of water in there to make it a bit thinner. Again, I did a Hearty Tips with Silka about paint consistency. If you get blobs or dry edges or paint doing what you don't want it to do, go and have a look at my blog on the website heartforart.co.nz and go and find the one about mixing the paint to the perfect consistency because that will help you as well. So let me just do a stem here. Now, oh no, I've wobbled. Oops, I made a mistake. So for the purposes of showing you, to fix this mistake, I can either make this all a little bit thicker and just cover it up, or I can embrace it and just go and add a leaf or something. You know, let me add a leaf here. And it was like it never happened. So really use your creative thinking, and the whole process of painting is about using that creative side of your brain. So use your brain and, you know, turn those mistakes into something else. If you did do something that wasn't meant to be, then rather than think, oh no, I've made a mistake, just think, okay, that wasn't meant to happen. How can I make it work into my painting? You see, so now you can't even see where my wobble was because I've just blended it right into the painting. I've made it part of the design. I've worked my boo-boos into my design, so to speak. All right. Now what else you can do is essentially paint over stuff. If for example, or paint something else. Like I've just turned these into 2 leaves, but what if I just go, whoopsie, I've got another bit of green blobby there that I don't want. I'm thinking, how can I fix that? What I'm going to do is just make a cute little ladybug. I'm going to get some bright red, and I'm going to put a nice big bit of red on top of that. And then I'm going to do some white dots. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. Now we've got a ladybug. You see my ladybug? So yeah, just really use your imagination, have fun with it, and think, how can I, turn this into something good? Not oh no, what have I done? Think, oh, what can I turn this into? Like if you're familiar with Bob Ross, one of his favourite sayings is they're just happy little accidents. I think his classic one was, oh no, that's not a tree now, let's turn it into a bird or something. So just turn your boo-boos into something fun. So that's tip number 4. If you do something you didn't intend to do, work it into your design. Turn it into something else. Make your shape bigger or wider, or like we did with the petals, we made them bigger, we changed the shape, we made the stem bigger, we added leaves. Just work it into your design, and before you know it, you'll forget all about your accidents. Nobody will, your paint boo-boos, nobody will ever have known. And the last tip I've got for you is that if you've made a boo-boo and you're really not happy with it, like, for me, the colour of that blossom isn't really that exciting. I'm not happy about that. So you can paint over it. Tip number 5, don't like it, paint over it. Essentially, you just kind of twink it out and start again. Let me just dry my brush, clean and dry my brush. There are 2 ways to do that, and I remember I already told you in tip number 3, if you're going to paint over something, make sure it's dry first. So let me just give this a quick blast. That'll do. And there are 2 ways that you can paint over things. You can paint over things with a darker colour or with a lighter colour. All right. Now, in my rainbow painting tutorial, which is also on the blog, that was about learning how to mix your colours. I talked about dominant colours and lighter and darker colours. Now, often the darker colours are the more dominant. So when you're mixing, you only need a little bit, because the darker colours will dominate the lighter colours. So if I want to go darker with this, for example, I do have one of these. I was going to say this is not a natural looking colour, but I do actually have a flower blossoming in my garden at the moment that is blue like this. So you can use a darker colour and just paint straight over the top. All right. Now again, the paint is in the belly of the brush, so don't use the tip of your brush. Use the belly of your the brush and just get all that paint down. So you can see that totally covers the blossom, the petal rather. All right. And the other way to do it is to go lighter. All right. Now, paint colors are opaque or transparent depending on what pigment and nature they are made from. Some colors are very transparent and some colors are totally opaque. So reds, for example, and yellows, they're very transparent, whereas white is totally opaque. So if you're going to go lighter, any white-based colours, let me just clean my brush, any white-based colours are going to cover up everything else because they're opaque. Of course, you can go, so I'm going to mix, what colour do I want to do it? I have to decide that, don't I? Let's go a nice light pink. So I'm just going to mix myself a pink here, nice light pink. See, because this is a white-based colour, it will cover that blossom nicely as well. Remember using the belly of the brush, not the tip of the brush. That will cover that nicely as well. You see, so it's like a whole new blossom, like you can't even tell. Now, this is the weirdest flower I've ever seen, but it's just for the purposes of me being able to demonstrate this. So you can cover it, you know, tip number 5, paint over it. Cover it with a darker colour or with a lighter colour, all right? If you're going to go lighter, use a white base colour because that is completely opaque and will cover it completely. Or if you really don't like it, you can just totally start again, all right? You can, hang on, I'll clean my brush. For that bit, you know, if you're just really not happy with what you've done, you can just get some white and use it like twink, essentially. You just twink it out. Start again. Again, remembering that the paint is in the belly of the brush, and you can paint over whatever it is that you're not happy with, and just start again. Sometimes you might need a couple of coats of white. This really is the strangest flower, but you know, nature is quite weird and wonderful as far as colours of flowers is concerned. Now I can see I haven't dried my colour underneath entirely, so I'm getting a bit of red through. So you may need a couple of coats. So now I'm free to start again on that particular petal, you know, and do whatever I like. Now, worst case scenario, obviously, you could completely start again and paint your entire canvas all over again. You know, cover your whole canvas and start all over again. You can do that, and I've got canvases that I've painted, repainted, you know, started again with white, at least 20 times. I like to reuse my canvases, you know, especially the practice canvases that we have in the studio for people to use. So I don't want to waste them, so I repaint them. And this the canvas starts to get a little bit heavy after a while because there's so many layers of paint on it, but there's no limit to how many times you can repaint it, really, as long as there's still room to do it. Sorry, I'm getting carried away now. So yes, that it's not the prettiest flower in the world, but the whole point was just to show you easy, simple ways to fix stuff, all right? And just to show you that it really doesn't matter if you make mistakes. There's always a way to fix it, all right? Now, I don't want to overwhelm you with too many things, so I think that's enough for today. Like I said, if you're struggling with mixing paint colours, you're not getting the colours you want, last week's Hearty Tips with Silka was all about colour mixing while you paint a beautiful rainbow. So go and have a look on my blog, on my website for that one, and that will help you with your colour mixing. And the paint consistency one is there as well. So what's next? Go make some mistakes. Essentially, go have a play, make some mistakes, and use my tips to help you fix them. Just have a practice of trying to fix stuff. The more you practice, you know, getting at fixing your mistakes, the more you will relax into it and know that it's all going to be okay. Everything's going to be just fine. There's not really anything that you can do that's going to stop the world, you know, and you'll just get more comfortable with it, and you'll know that everything will be fine and is fixable, and you will enjoy your painting so much more. All right, just always remember there's no mistakes you can't fix. Worst case scenario, repaint the whole canvas, start again. That's a fix. You want to try and avoid that if you can, but it is a fix as well. All right. So I hope that's been helpful. Now, if there's anyone else that you think might benefit from this, please do share it with them. You know, I just want people to enjoy painting, which is why I do my Hearty Tips with Silka. I want people to not be stressed or frustrated. I just want you to enjoy the process and enjoy, you know, enjoy your time painting and get the healthy, you know, mental health benefits from it. Now, if you want me to show you step by step how to do a much more amazing painting than this and a whole painting, then pop on my website and come join me for a paint party. I will step you through an entire painting and you'll just, yay, get a beautiful painting to take home. So just summarizing today, what I taught you was that there's really no mistake you can't fix, all right? first thing to know is how to use your brush properly, that the paint is in the belly of the brush, not the tip of the brush. All right, so use the belly of the brush if you want to put more paint on, so you're not just pushing the paint around. Okay, the second thing I taught you was about over blending, that you really don't need many brush strokes to get a nice colorful background effect. All right, if you do happen to do too many strokes and over blend it, just put a bit more paint on and do less strokes of, you know, do your different colors. The third thing I taught you was not to paint over wet paint. If you're blending, the colors do need to be wet, but if you're trying to layer your colors, if you're putting the next thing on, like your flower, your paint must be dry first. So you can sit and watch it dry if that's your thing, or you can get your hair dryer and give it a blast. The fourth thing I taught you was that if you happen to wobble off somewhere and make a mistake, just work it into your design, you know. Make whatever shape it is bigger or wider or whatever. Change the shape if you need to. You know, work your boo-boos into your design. Put a ladybird in, put a fireworks in, you know, like on the painting I showed you. Just work it into your design, all right? And the last thing I taught you was that if there is a mistake that you just really can't figure out how to work into your design, paint over it, all right? Go darker if you're working with lighter colors, like I've done here with this blue one, that will cover the initial color. Or go lighter, all right? Use a white-based color. White is totally opaque, so it will cover anything. You may need a couple of coats, or just go white, completely white, and twink it out. You're essentially twinking it out, and you can start again, all right? And worst case scenario, you can restart with your whole painting, cover it all with white, and dry it again. So with all of those tips, I really hope they've helped. With all of those tips, you should be able to paint with a lot more confidence, knowing that you can fix any mistake easily and enjoy your painting time more, all right? So if you need to, watch this again and again, but do go and pick up your brush and have a bit of fun painting, and get creative and make mistakes, all right? So thank you for joining me today. I really do hope this has helped, and we will see you again next week for more hearty tips with Silke. All right, have a great rest of your week. Bye.